So this right here is going to be one of those stories about how you have a company and how they simply don't care about you at all. All right. This one's actually a USPS worker, and this actually hit home for me considering the fact that I used to work at the post office. So I'm like, dang. I mean, I already knew y'all didn't care about me, but I'm like, dang, y'all doing this to your carriers, the people who are actually delivering the mail too? Let's get into this. Black Mailwoman said that she was penalized for going to the hospital while on the job. Now you might say, well, you weren't supposed to be. We're going to get into the details. A USPS postwoman in North Carolina says that she was penalized for leaving her mail truck after experiencing a medical crisis during her route. Okay, this is per the Atlanta Black Star. Mail carrier Marshawn Brooks said she was delivering mail in Charlotte when she started experiencing chest pains and difficulty breathing. Before calling 911, Brooks said she informed her managers of the situation and the location of her truck through the scanner, but she did not receive a response. So she did. Hey, here's my location. Here, manager, here's my location. All right, I'm having difficulty breathing, chest pains. Okay, I'm going to have to go to the hospital. So it's not like she didn't do that. Brooks went to the hospital and was later released. When she returned to her mail station to check her truck keys, Brooks saw that her supervisor, whose eyes just started bulging. Oh my goodness. The mail carrier recalled.
For the past 6 years, Marshawn Brooks has been a mail carrier for the United States Postal Service in Charlotte.
I love my route. Even though it's a walking route, I walk about 8 or 9 miles a day, but I love it.
On November 20th, while out on her uptown route, she was forced to sit down.
I was having chest pains. I had a hard time breathing. So I sat in a mail truck for a few minutes to see if it went away, and then it kind of subsided, but then when I got back up in the mail truck to organize my mail to get out to do the next loop, it happened again.
She says she reached out to her managers using the postal scanner as she was taught in her training, letting them know that she needed medical attention.
In the text message, it included where I was at. I sat around, waited to see if someone from management would respond. No one responded.
After a few minutes, she called 911 and an ambulance took her to the hospital.
I'm gonna put my health before anything.
After nearly 6 hours in the ER, she was released. She took an Uber back to the mail station to check in because she still hadn't heard anything from her supervisors.
The supervisor was sitting at the desk and I was like, did you not all see my text message I sent through the scanner? Because I just got released from the hospital. She went to her computer and her eyes just started bulging like, oh my God. And she asked me, where's the postal vehicle? And I was like, it's the same location that I sent in a text message. I said, you know, this is ridiculous. I had a medical emergency and you all didn't do anything about it.
A few days later, after being cleared by her doctor, she went back to work and was told she was being suspended for abandoning her route.
And she asked me, this is what Brooks said. She said, and she asked me, where's the postal vehicle? And I was like, it's in the same location that I sent in the text message. I already told you. I told you before I even called 911. I said, you know, this is ridiculous. I had a medical emergency and you all did not do anything about it. Okay. Brooks returned to work with medical documents because she just went to hospital. She returned to work with medical documents only to be informed by her supervisor that she had been suspended without pay due to, quote unquote, abandoning her route.
I'm like, how did I abandon my route? I sent out the message, you all did not respond. I had a medical emergency.
She left that morning on leave without pay.
That's just totally just unfair, inhumane, no type of empathy, none whatsoever.
I reached out to USPS and they verified when a carrier is having a medical emergency while delivering mail, they are trained to seek medical attention immediately, which can be done by going to a nearby emergency room or calling 911. But that's what Brooks says that she did.
Oh, absolutely. They don't want to take no accountability, and I'm being penalized for it.
She says it's a reality that has her sitting at home during one of the busiest times of year for postal workers.
You see your carriers, we try to have a smile on our face, be happy, cordial, but deep down inside, us carriers is going through so much for getting that mail out to you.
The mail carrier believed the move was, quote unquote, unfair and inhumane. People have things that happen to them. People have heart attacks, people have strokes, people, their knee may go out, whatever the case may be. They may have difficulty breathing, asthma, whatever underlying health issue, or maybe something that they didn't even know that they had. And this just once again shows that the job does not care. Most jobs, I would say, do not care about you. And you work yourself into the ground, especially mail carriers. Oh my goodness, I know from personal experience how bad that is. Like in terms of on your body, how much work these people be putting in. Even in the warehouses, how much work you be putting in, running your body to the ground. Only for them to be like, well, I mean, you're still suspended without pay. I mean, you shouldn't have gotten sick on your day that you're working. I mean, come on. Why didn't you plan this for another day? Let's continue. All right. And she said that it's inhumane because she followed protocol and communicated the situation to her managers, and her managers are still like, well, so you shouldn't have gotten sick. You shouldn't have had to go to the hospital right now. You should have just delivered your route and then went to the hospital. Duh. Who wouldn't have thought that? A spokesperson released a statement in wake of Brooks' allegations. Spokesperson said, when a carrier is having a medical emergency while delivering mail, they are trained to seek medical attention immediately, which can be done by going to the nearby emergency room or calling 911, which is what she did. Brooks said she later received a letter that she could return to work on December 19th. However, the letter did not address her suspension or back pay. All right. And she was saying that they overall do not want to take accountability for what they're doing or the lack thereof their actions. And that's the thing about it. She's over here saying, I can't help the fact that I was sick. I can't help the fact that, I was having chest pains and difficulty breathing. I can't help that. Okay. I'm human. Things happen. But here's my documentation. Before I even called 911, I told you where I was, and I told you, manager, where I was, where the vehicle is. And then you're going to go and say, oh, you abandoned your route. You're supposed to deliver this mail. And yes, like I said, I worked at the post office before. I would go back. But here's the thing. You put in a lot of work. Okay. Yes, everyone have the 10s, the 8s. I've done 12s back to back. That's exhausting. Okay. I've done it, where, because I was a mail handler. All right. So I know how that is. Okay. And carriers, I know how that is as well, where they're just going back to back. They got to do all these routes. And depending on your tenure, you may not be getting the good routes. They may give you some crappy routes. Be like, okay, well, you got to do it. I mean, that's your job. And it's a lot of work. They will work you. A lot of different jobs, they will work you. But when you're working at the post office, it's not only like a mental drain, but it's a physical drain more so, because you got to get that mail moved. You got to move it. You got to move the APCs. You got to move the BMCs. If you are, if you're lucky enough to be a PSC, for example, you're moving stuff. But if you're a mail handler, you're doing a lot of that moving. Okay. Maybe you're on a forklift. Maybe you're on a tugger. It's a lot of different work that you have to do. And it's a physical job. Being outside in the heat, you have the weather condition, being outside in the rain, whatever the case may be. And for your job to just be like, well, I mean, you really couldn't have gotten sick on some other day. You're abandoning your route. Oh my God. You're human and you got sick. You're hurt. So instead of just being like, okay, we're not going to suspend you. We're going to give you your back pay. We just had to do it for a formality, but we're not going to suspend you. We're going to make it so that you can come back to work as soon as possible whenever you are, medically cleared to come back. And we're going to pay you your money. Why is it so difficult? So That's the thing. I hope she gets her money. She needs to get her money, because this is the kind of stuff I talk about. These companies will run you into the ground. That's why you always have to make sure you have good physical health and mental health to deal with all of this mess. But let me know down below. Let me know, do you have a current job or previous job where you were ran into the ground, where they were just like, I'm not interested. I don't really care. You're going to do whatever I tell you to do. And so what? Let me know what you all think and your stories down below.